a new, well, not a new playthrough, but a new part of our playthrough. And my babe just said, I forgot where we were at. And honestly, I want to say we're just starting the new trial part, I think.
Because we think that she killed, not the disciple, but the zealot guy.
Yeah, the prey zealot. I was thinking about it all day yesterday. I never properly asked you to. It doesn't matter, I'm on this case till the bitter end. I know, that's why I wanted to officially ask you for your help. You got it, Maya, let's do this. We gotta wrap this up and get back home so you can make your dream show come true. The Steel Samurai versus the Plume Punter. You look as if you did not sleep last night, Barbed Head. It is written all over your face. How can you expect to put up a respectable defense like that? I'm all fired up and raring to go. I guess Maya's not the only one looking exhausted. Rafa doesn't seem in the best spirits herself. Go ahead, feign confidence now while you are still able.
What would you just a divination seance that she sees, like, that it's not her?
That'd be nice. That'd be nice if she's like, there's something wrong with my seance. Or I'll see to it that your last rites are read to you this day. Hey, I guess it was just my imagination. Ready, Nick? Okay, Maya, let's head on in. Now then, if everyone is ready, the defense is ready, Your Majesty. The prosecution is ready. Let us begin without further delay. Oh, no prayer this time, Prosecutor Sadnati? I already offered my prayers for the latest victim during my visit to the crime scene. Being that the accused has already been found guilty of the first murder, let us hasten this trial so we may put this dead lawyer walking out of everyone.
What's wrong with people?
In yesterday's trial, the accused was already found guilty of murdering the high priest, and today she will be tried for the murder of his disciple, Prey Zealot. Now then, Prosecutor Sanmati, your opening statement, if you would. Certainly. The accused has now slain two of the most devout clergymen in Khura'in. Even the lowest level of hell, the hell of tickling, would not be punishment enough. Then, what terrible fate awaits her? Balgilpakan Hell, a realm of eternal agony. There she will suffer the endless punishment of Jagar by the Golan of Palmotan. Furthermore, Galjama... Enough! My blood runs cold at the mere thought that such a terrible place exists. I was going to ask for a translation, but on second thought, ignorance is bliss. Now then, please continue, minus the part about the terrible hell awaiting the accused. As you wish. The victim of this heinous crime was the high priest disciple, Prey Zealot. He had been training under the high priest while living at the priest's home. I had met him a number of times, and he seemed like an earnest young man. How tragic that he met such a terrible end. The murder occurred at the Plaza of Devotion during the Purification Rite. It was a blood crime carried out while the plaza was full of the faithful deep in prayer. The Warbat dagger was found impaled in the victim's upper back. Stabbing caused a spinal cord injury that killed him instantly. Ah, the Warbat dagger, Lady Kira's weapon of choice. We have already established that the accused prints were on the weapon. Incredibly damning evidence in itself. No, I didn't do it. Hold your tongue. Now, being that the accused Maya Fey is a serial killer, the prosecution believes that the death penalty is the only possible sentence. Would the defense care to respond? The accused is innocent and nothing can convince me otherwise. After all, the crime scene was packed with worshippers. How could my client possibly have committed this murder without a single witness? The accused's fingerprint on the murder weapon alone is enough to render a verdict. As such, I see no need to debate this any further. But, well, once Her Benevolence conducts her seance, it will be clear for all to see. Your Majesty, might I have a word? Is something the matter, Prosecutor Sadmati? It is about the divination seance.
That's right, he's seen it, remember? He gets a preview before court.
Oh, Your Benevolence. Stop right there, Prosecutor Sadmati. As you wish, forgive me for overstepping my bounds. What was that all about? Barbed Head, have you made peace with your fate? For this time, the divination seance will bring you to your knees. I'm ready, and I accept your challenge. The only problem is I have no weapons at my disposal. Our only hope now is what we can glean from the seance vision and Rafa's insights. Very well, the divination seance, if you please, Your Benevolence. Yes, let us begin. Nena!
You better not be drinking my water, Kate.
O Holy Mother, we hold this divination seance in your name.
Okay.
Let the eyes of everyone here be clear, and our ears be unstopped. O dance of devotion, guide the victim's soul to me, so that we may receive their final memories in the pool of souls.
Here's what I want to know. If I just skip this part, it's not going to skip the seance vision, is it?
I think it skips the dance.
Yeah, let's try it. Yep, okay.
There's nothing.
Oh. I didn't get it. Why wasn't there anything to see? Your Benevolence, what in the world? I was unable to evoke any sort of response. I called out the spirit's name many times, but to no avail. Just as I thought. Wait, what does he know that we don't? I had sought to confirm the contents of today's divination seance. After all, it is customary for the prosecutor to verify it beforehand. Come to think of it. And that is why I sought to stop Her Benevolence from performing it here. However, she insisted that it be done. She wished to try one more time here in the Hall of Justice. It would appear Her Benevolence is tired from her manifold duties. I am not anything of the sort. The victim's spirit will not answer my call, but I know not why. It is my sacred duty to convey the truth through the divination seance. Rafa. What are we to do without a divination seance? I suppose I shall have to deliver the last rites without them. The prosecution has already taken that into account when preparing for today. I am fully capable of proving the accused's guilt with or without a divination seance. Ha 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 ha. You never fail to impress, Prosecutor Sadmati. This is bad. The divination seance was my one and only hope. Your Majesty, Her Benevolence said she isn't tired. So shouldn't we try to find out why the divination seance failed? How curious, Mr. Wright. Why have you suddenly taken such a keen interest in the divination seance? Yes, explain yourself. The divination seance is for shedding light on an accused crime. It is the Holy Mother's hammer of wrath that is ever poised to pound you into your grave. You should fear it, not plead for it. I believe in my client. Plus, yesterday somebody told me something that changed my mind. The divination seance was once thought of as just another piece of evidence. If we were to correctly interpret the visions through careful analysis, then they would lead us to the truth behind what really happened. And the truth will show that my client, Maya Fey, is innocent. The truth is, you don't have anything else to fall back on, huh, Nick? Maya, please, you're not helping. How dare you? The voice of a Mitama is to be feared, not utilized by vile lawyers such as you. Seances exact a heavy toll upon the royal priestess. It would be best not to burden her any further. Or does the defense feel that it can pose no counter-arguments without the seance? No, of course not. He saw right through me. I'll have to find a way to make the divination seance happen, or we're toast. Well, since the divination seance is not possible at this time, I see no other choice. Let us proceed with the trial without the seance, as Prosecutor Sanmadhi suggested. Thank you, Your Majesty. Why, I will not forget this barbed head. This will not be the last you see of me. Now then, I will now proceed by providing an outline of the case at hand. I wonder if there's a very specific case reason why it didn't work. And like,
Maya is channeling him, so the other girl can't get him. Because I mean, they can't be in two places at one time, right?
That's true, but why would Maya be channeling him?
So that he couldn't give her it? I don't know. Or maybe she's channeling... I don't know.
Very well, if the lead detective would please come to the stand. Sorry, Mr. Wright. Detective Sky, I understand how you would wish to save the accused and the defense. They are your friends after all. Whoops. But you must let them go and move on. There's only one way to save them now, by giving their souls the chance to burn away the taint of their sins in the infernal flames. Oh, I can't do this. Ah, no eating in the Sacred Hall of Justice. Miss Sky. Yes? Don't worry about me and Nick. You just do your job. I'm sure Nick will figure something out eventually. Right. Thanks, Miss Fey. How very brave for a criminal with a tainted soul. Very well, Detective Sky. Please proceed. Okay, I can do this. Let me start with an overview of this case. The latest victim was Pere Zeh'lot. He had been training under the High Priest and living at his house for the past 2 years. The High Priest's widow, Believe in Me, has identified the victim's body. He may have been mistaken for a rebel and killed due to his connection to the High Priest. I see. Well, that certainly makes sense. Would the defense care to respond? I didn't spot any inconsistencies in her testimony so far. I don't have any evidence in my arsenal. What am I going to do now? What is it, Maya? I was just wondering about how much the police actually looked into Acolyte Zeh'lot. Because it just might prove to be the key as to why the divination seance failed. What are you getting at? Well, it's just a hunch. Wait a second. During my investigation, Raven told me about how the divination seance works. If I could figure out why it failed, maybe she could try it again. Okay, time to press for some more information.
Hold it!
What kind of person was Acolyte Zeh'lot? According to the neighbors and others who knew him, he was a deeply devout youth. I, too, have heard his name mentioned as one who was a fervent practitioner. I suppose you might say he was the High Priest's star disciple. Furthermore, he had been training under the High Priest and living at his house for the past 2 years. 2 years? Are you sure about that? We took statements from his neighbors and his fellow monks. They all corroborate our initial findings. What about you, Maya? Well, when I first came here, I saw Zeh'lot praying under the High Priest's instruction. I see.
So the results of the police investigation seem to check out.
Hold it!
Was Mrs. Inmee's positive ID the only way you verified the identity of the victim? Huh? Well, no. We also checked the ID card he carried and the data in his family registry. But what? But his personal information didn't match any of the public records we cross-referenced. Maybe that's why the divination seance failed. Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean, Mr. Wright. Here's what I'm thinking. Khura'in Zeh'lot is a fake name? I think that makes sense. The victim decided to hide his identity for some reason. In other words, he was using a fake name. The royal priestess uses a deceased face true name to summon their spirit. Why, yes, that is indeed true. If he was using a forged ID and there was no mention of him in our public records, then he was likely an illegal immigrant. They are not uncommon here in Khura'in. Illegal immigrant? Come to think of it, Rafa mentioned something about immigrants yesterday. But if that's the case, we have no way of knowing who he really is. We'll have to proceed without holding a divination seance this time. I'd always thought that Acolyte Zeh'lot was Khura'inese. Know how the High Priest must be lamenting his disciples' deception in the Twilight Realm. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you think? Should we add this to the testimony? Yeah. This is an important fact. Please add it to the testimony. It would seem to be a fact most inconvenient for the defense, but if you insist, Detective Skye, please add what you just said to your testimony. Yes, Your Majesty.
Hold it!
Isn't there some way to track down his real name? No, not if he was an illegal immigrant. Have you actually confirmed that he was in Khura'in illegally? Well, we don't have any conclusive evidence. But there's also no evidence of him being a citizen of Khura'in either. Oh boy, now what do we do? What if there was a clue in the evidence you gathered? That's probably our only hope at this point. If he really was an illegal immigrant, our proverbial goose is probably cooked. Okay, so let's look at what she said. Wrong penitentiary prisoner. Let's start with the new evidence, I guess. Yeah, that's in the grass. Let me know when you're done reading. Okay. Besides, well, this wouldn't really tell us, I think, whether or not he was there illegally.
No, I just thought maybe there was evidence.
The tattoo? Oh. Perhaps. Do we know what that tattoo symbolizes? Probably right about that.
Maybe it comes later.
Yeah, you might. So he was a legal immigrant, so we don't know his real name. I mean, we haven't pressed this yet, so I guess we can try. But Maya isn't that Lady Kira who's been going around capturing rebels. I'm sorry, Mr. Wright, but that verdict was already handed down in the previous trial. It is no longer a point of dispute, and I will not allow you to make it so. But no ifs, ands, and most of all, no buts. The accused was posing as Lady Kira, and she killed Acolyte Zeh'lot because she mistakenly believed him to be a rebel. That's not true. I'm sorry. The verdict has already been read in that case. I have to assume that it's fact now. Now what do we do? Now I know why the divination seance failed, but nothing's really changed. Yeah, which means we're in big trouble. If he really was an illegal immigrant, it's going to be real hard to find out his real name. I guess our only choice is to give up on the whole divination seance thing. Only there was a way to find out the victim's real name. So, we will find out his real name. So this was the first victim. It might be important. I don't know if that Peach would allow us to see his real name. Because I could take a stab at it and present it and see what happens, but...
Well, if we can run it in something, like, is that okay? Like, I don't know.
Okay, let's see. We know that Lady Kira's name is that. Maybe we try.
Objection!
Ah, okay. I'm not sure why. Sorry, Detective Sky. But the police missed something important in their investigation. What are you talking about? The victim was undeniably a Khura'in native. And this crime scene photo proves it. It does? It's a little hard to see, but look closely. You'll see clear proof that the victim was Khura'in. Where? I don't see anything that would prove that. This proves the victim was Khura'in. Is it this?
Take that!
Look at this tattoo right here. Why, that's a tattoo of a peach. I would like you all to think about the meaning of this tattoo. Oh, the victim really liked peaches? Well, peaches are a favorite delicacy here in Khura'in. They happen to be a personal favorite of mine. The sweetness of their abundant nectars and the softness of their perfectly ripe flesh. They are a blessing from the Holy Mother herself. Nick, I've suddenly got a craving for peaches. After the trial, Maya, right now we have bigger fish to fry. Unfortunately, that is not a tattoo of a peach. It is not a peach, you say? Then what is it? Wow, why did he get so mad? Take a closer look. Haven't you seen something?
That's on his forehead.
Oh! Namely the tattoo on the High Priest's brow. Oh my. What? This mark is only borne by members of the Khura'in clergy.
Objection!
I see. That's kind of a... So that is what you believe it to be, but are they not utterly different shapes? Sure, they're shaped differently, but there's a reason for that. The victim had the peach tattoo inked over an existing tattoo for some reason. However, the dark red portion is exactly the same as the mark all Khura'in clergy bear. Hey, you're right. Until about 20-some-odd years ago, everyone did get one, didn't they? I myself bear one on my right buttock. That is entirely too much information. Information on everyone who enters the clergy is maintained at the temple. All we have to do is look up a monk with a mark in the same spot. I'm on it. I'll let you know if I get any hits. That will not be necessary. If you seek information on the clergy, I have it all right here. Oh my, you never cease to amaze. So tell us, is there anyone who fits the bill? There is just one, and his name is Real Nemu. Real Nemu. He became a monk 20 years ago.
And he's not 21.
Yeah. And that must be the victim's real name. But why would he have tried to cover up his tattoo with another one? Yeah, there must have been some reason. Nick, that's not important right now. The important thing is we know his real name. You're right. Your Majesty, now that we know the victim's real name, the divination seance might finally work. A lawyer who willingly seeks a seance. That is entirely unprecedented. Okay. You are but digging your own grave, Defense.
Now no one's seen this one.
Yeah. We won't know that until we try. Sure, it's risky, but it's our only hope. Very well, let the divination seance be held once more. Why would a lawyer work so hard to see the divination seance be held once more? You are a fool, Barbhead, and your foolishness shall yield no gratitude from me. I think her and Franziska von Karma would be great friends with all the foolish stuff. For with the truth be revealed in the insights and stuff. Bring it on, princess! Because I will correctly interpret each and every one of your insights. You will regret ever thinking you could use my sacred insights as evidence.
How could she say that when she has no idea what it's going to show?
I don't know.
O Holy Mother, let the dance so that we may...
He smells hot food.
Plume Punisher theme.
Right?
Oh my. It is just as Mr. Wright surmised. Pray Zeh'lot wasn't the victim's true name. Now at last we have seen the victim's final moments. But all we could see was the ground. You seem terribly disappointed. I take it you did not find any fodder for one of your infamous turnabouts? I, on the other hand, have discovered something. Conclusive evidence that establishes the accused's guilt. You did? Ha 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 ha. A most surprising surprise attack. So tell us, Prosecutor Sadmati, what is this conclusive evidence you have found? The Plume Punisher theme song that the deceased heard. Please consider this item here. It was confiscated from the accused during her interrogation. Hey, that's my Plume Punisher strap. When you press the Magatom on the Plume Punisher's belt, ah. It seems the accused inadvertently pressed the button in the midst of her crime. This strap is an extremely rare item, is it not, Miss Fay? You'd better not break it. There's only one of those in the whole wide world. Maya, no! Heh 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 heh, it is just as I said. Your flights of fancy have come crashing down on you. She sure seems to be enjoying this. Yeah, I've never seen her look so thrilled before either. It is time to accept the fact that a divination seance is far more than mere evidence. It is the very truth that brings the hammer of justice. That is as conclusive as evidence can get. Now there are no further objections. Slow down there, your majesty. At least let me make a counter-argument. What's this? Do you take issue with the divination seance? Well, I have issues with it. I just don't know what they are yet. But it's never stopped me before. The divination seance is not the absolute truth. It only becomes the truth after it's been interpreted correctly. You do not know when you are beaten, do you, you foolish lawyer?
I am the only one who speaks for the Mitama of the deceased. If you believe there to be errors in my insights, then let us see you prove it. The victim was offering up his prayers. It was the night of the rite. Though it's dark, the pattern on the plaza's ground was visible. Then someone was there, and the theme to the Plume Punisher filled the air. The accused held the defenseless victim down and plunged her knife into his neck. The blade struck true, and in that instant he departed from this world. That is everything the deceased experienced in his final moments. Her benevolence's insights have painted a detailed picture, both vivid and true. I didn't notice any holes there. As they stand now, those insights are really stacked against us. I think it was night, like early morning? 4 or 5 a.m.?
When he died, but he could smell that stuff, which has to be eaten on the same day. That stinky stuff?
Oh.
And she said that, the Believe in Me said.
Well, here's the thing, though. This was... He died instantly. So he had to have died overnight. But there must be a reason, then, that he smelled that stuff. Because it's supposed to be... Yeah, then. Huh. I'm curious.
By 3 p.m., so he got killed midday. Because you could still smell that. He was killed between... I don't know if something's wrong with this, because he smelled that nasty smell.
Either that, or something, or this stuff was there for some reason. But then how did they get the autopsy so wrong to say instant death, sorry, we were 12 hours off? Curious. There's definitely something wrong. Okay. We just... and it has something to do with that. And the Plume Punisher, I thought she did she already trade that at the moment?
At the dinner, she's holding it, and the other woman has...
The Steel Samurai.
Yeah, but maybe it's the Steel Samurai that's actually playing, because they sound almost alike.
True.
So, maybe the watch is going off and not the...
True. Okay. We got ideas. We're going to get them.
Okay, well, why does he smell it? Is that because he went right after dinner?
Possibly? Well, I think maybe...
And that's his side. That's his handprints.
Yes! Yes, you're right! Oh my god! So he didn't die when he was praying. Somebody put him there, and then he died.
He was already stabbed in the back of the neck, probably at the same time that the other guy was killed. Or soon thereafter.
Wow. That crazy. Okay. So it wasn't the night of the rite because of that. So maybe it has something to do with the smell, and that means it wasn't the night of the rite.
Objection!
I think you got it, babe. Was it really the night of the rite? Good job, babe. What do you mean? It could not be otherwise. The accused slew Acolyte Zeh'lot after killing the High Priest during the purification rite. The only problem is the deceased spirit does not corroborate that. What's this? Take a good look at what the victim smelled. Do you see how it says gingle? Acolyte Zeh'lot shouldn't have smelled any gingle on the night of the rite. What do you mean? Let me back up my statement with some evidence for you. This should explain how the victim couldn't have smelled gingle. This.
Take that!
The High Priest's wife, Believe in Me, told me about the Feast of Blessings. The feast includes a number of gingle-based dishes, and they're only supposed to be served at a certain time the day before the rite. Why, I believe you're right. I had completely forgotten about that. During the feast, the unique smell of gingle pervades the entire kingdom. The fact that the victim smelled it means he was murdered between noon and 3 p.m. the day before the purification rite. Well, they screwed up the autopsy then.
That's enough!
Huh, I am not so easily fooled. Did that autopsy report not make it clear? The estimated time of death was during the rite. Oh, right. I taught her about that yesterday. Forgive me, Your Benevolence, but the estimated time of death is just that, an estimate. Depending on the circumstances, it's possible for it to change. What's this? Like if a body was kept cold, the slowed rate of decay makes the death seem more recent. Well, I believe I had heard something of the sort before. If it is as Mr. Wright claims, the estimated time of death of the autopsy report will have to be revised. Okay, well, you caught on to that real fast. Barbed head, you blinded me with science. Sorry? Wait, what am I apologizing for? No matter. The murder may have occurred in the afternoon hours the day before the rite. Nevertheless, the murder weapon with the accused prints on it is incontrovertible evidence. I will now amend my insight to account for this new truth. I actually like this insight stuff. It's actually a cool gameplay mechanic. The time of death has been corrected, leaving my insight infallible. Nick, a change in the time of death is bound to cause some sort of inconsistency. If I had something that showed what it was like on that day, it could really help.
Now, this isn't the Plaza Ground.
Yeah. Now, we know that... She already said, though, the pattern on the Plaza's ground was visible, so I wonder if that comes a little later. Man, though, that is, like... perfect how that is. It's the afternoon before the rite. The other side of the pound, the Plaza's ground was visible, and someone was there, and the theme to the Plume Punisher filled the air. No, I don't think so. He was offering prayers. Here's the thing, I don't even think he's offering prayers. Since it says heavy, I wonder if he's pushing that thing into the hideaway. Well, not even that, just he's like pushing it in for whatever reason. Because it says heavy, and it's like, why should it say heavy?
Well, she's claiming that the killer sat on his back to hold him down for the night. That's what she's claiming.
Yeah.
You want to know from
I don't know if it's time yet, because the reason why I'm trying to figure it out, I don't think I can go to the log now, but basically, what I'm trying to figure out is, he said if only I can figure out what it was like that day. So I'm trying to figure out where there's inconsistency with what it was like that day.
the weather report.
Yeah.
But you can't. Right?
I mean, I can look at it, but it's not that. So it was the afternoon. Punisher theme.
It was the clock. Remember there's a clock in there that on the hour it plays the Punisher song? In the room that he was in. It's the picture of it. That clock on the hour plays the theme.
Oh.
So it might be one of the things ever, but on the hour that plays it. It's the Punisher song.
Yeah.
There's more than one thing in the world that plays that, because that plays it and we have a picture of it, and then we can introduce that with his hand.
Okay. So let me see. So. Look how when it gets heavy, he gets closer in. Interesting. Okay, so thing is, then someone was there, and the theme to the Plume Punisher filled the air.
Someone has to be there and for that to play.
It's true. I don't know if this is actually going to be a contradiction to this, but now I still hear the music. Offering up prayers. Start day before the right. So with heavy, it's saying somebody is forcing him in. Let me let it play again. The victim was offering up his prayers. Okay. It's the afternoon of the day of the riot. Though it was dark, the pattern on the plaza's ground was visible.
Objection!
Yeah. The change in the date and time of the crime has caused a new inconsistency to surface. What's this? Ah, you are making that irritating face again. See, said it once. Sorry, but this is the face I was born with. Now, let's focus on what is important, what the victim saw in his final moments. I'm also curious because... See, that doesn't look like it has any depth to it. But that looks like it has depth to it. That's what it is.
So the blood inside there is him not.
Yeah. Do you have... So maybe that's why it was the water was already red. Because he was already dead. Do you have bats in the belfry, Barbed Head? There's nothing to see. The ground of the plaza was all that entered the victim's eyes. And that's what I find so strange. On the day before the riot, it should have been impossible to see that pattern on the ground. Possible, you say? Do explain. This piece of evidence shows why the plaza's ground was not visible that day. Oh. Thick white ice that froze the ground from the inner sanctum to the plaza of devotion until yesterday has melted. But it said it melted. Although... I think we might just be right on that.
Take that!
This newspaper has an article that is tiny in size but huge in importance. It says that the ground was covered with thick white ice the day before the riot. What? But... Yeah, because now it's a day before. Okay. I don't know why I didn't think of that. The victim did not see so much as an ice cube on the ground. Exactly. And so we must ask, what was the victim looking at in his final moments? If you have something to say, then say it. The last thing the victim saw was not the ground at the Plaza of Devotion. That can only mean that he was killed elsewhere. What? 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 Then where do you propose the victim was actually killed? Yes, tell us where, otherwise your argument is worthless. About that. Alright, I hadn't gotten to that part yet. Any ideas, Maya? Let me think. Well, it's somewhere green and shaggy, right? Right, but where could that be? What is it, Barbed Head, giving up already? Not at all. Now, where have I seen something green and shaggy? We know.
Take that!
The secret hideout the rebels were using. The rebel hideout. There was no such place anywhere on the floor in that chamber. You're absolutely right, there's no place on the floor anyway. What did the victim see in his final moments if not the floor of the rebel hideout? Alright.
Take that!
The shaggy green surface the victim saw was one of the moss-covered stone slabs. As you can see, there are two distinct hand-shaped impressions in the moss here. I believe the victim was killed while he stood there with his hands pressed against the slab. That does agree with the seance vision. However, one cannot definitely declare they are one and the same. I concur. There is no proof that a murder occurred in the rebel hideout. Oh yeah, there is! Yep. What evidence do you have of this? I've already shown you the evidence. What do you mean? Please take a look at the second version of the photo I just showed you. You can see the results of the luminol test I performed in the rebel hideout. That is proof positive that someone had been bleeding in front of that stone slab. Is this true? This information has already been provided to the police. Detective Sky, to whom does this blood belong? We thought it was the High Priest blood that flowed in from outside. So we haven't tested it yet. Then you must do so at once. Yes, Your Majesty. It appears that police had finished testing the blood. Detective Sky, your report, please. The blood found in the rebel hideout belongs to Zeh'lot, just like the defense claims. Detective Sky, do you realize what your blunder has done to me? When this trial concludes, I want to see you in my prayer chamber. There I will deliver a joyous sermon onto you for 8 hours straight. I'm really sorry, but please, anything but that. Nick, maybe, just maybe, this is the chance we've been waiting for. Yep, it would seem so. I hate to do this to Emma, but go for it. It's full speed ahead. The victim was killed in the rebel hideout the day before the purification rite. Then his body was moved to the Plaza of Devotion by someone we've yet to identify. So, when we thought we saw Acolyte Zeh'lot praying during the rite, he was already dead. Ugh. And that's not all. If he was killed at the Inner Sanctum, that would explain one more thing. And that would be how the time of death was made to look later than it actually was, the proof of which was left behind at the Sanctum. This points to how the time of death was made to appear later than it actually was. Okay. If he was killed at the Inner Sanctum, that would explain one more thing. How the time of death was made to look later than it actually was, proof of which was left. So it's got to be something that was at the Sanctum. Is this the Sanctum? Mm-hmm. They said the evidence was left behind in the Sanctum.
Oh, the one of
Wait, I got a question actually about that. Let me. Well, I might actually be wrong.
Look, your last not in the stone. That's why you have that area. It's like the boy maybe in the snow outside. Maybe he's left outside in the snow.
The Inner Sanctum, Plaza of Devotion until yesterday was melted. Evidence was left there. Well, I mean, that could be the evidence there.
Take that!
Why, these are photos of the inner sanctum? I'd like you to focus on this one. The proof is right here in the photo. This is how the time of death was made to appear later than it really was. You see how the snow has been removed from this one spot only? That's because it was used to keep the victim's body cold. And that's why the time of death wasn't what it seemed. The time was mistaken in the place too? And just what do you believe that proves? That my client is innocent. What of her fingerprints on the dagger and the Plume Punisher theme the victim heard? You have failed to address these two key pieces of evidence. Yeah, we have ideas there. Wasn't that your big chance, Nick? I'm really hoping the difference in location can invalidate either the weapon or the theme song from being used as evidence against you. I would say the theme song, at least for one of them. Honey, are you sure you didn't help write this case? Because, man, you are like... I feel like you had a lot of this stuff figured out in 15 minutes. Like, you would diagram a lot of the stuff that we're getting to now. So I'm joking that you wrote the... Yeah, you're just staring at me, though.
It's just a game. And, they show you these things for a reason.
I know. It's just you're really good at it. Yeah, that's all.
And you can read stories and then they ask questions about the story. Or you have to watch a movie and
Oh, there you go.
okay.
Alright, kick your... Very well, let's see you try. Nick, take a good look at the Rebel Hideout photo. Oh. Plume Punisher theme. Yep. Plume Punisher theme, and how do you intend to support such a claim? Since the murder happened in the Rebel Hideout, there's something there that played the theme song other than my client's strap. It wasn't the strap? Is this true? The item that played the Plume Punisher theme song was this.
Take that!
This is a Plume Punisher alarm clock. I believe the victim heard its alarm go off. What proof do you have that the alarm went off? What proof do you have that it was my client's strap that played the theme song? Ooh, get her! Do not twist the facts with your lawyerly wiles. Yeah. Either way, the accused would still be guilty based off of her prints on the murder weapon. And here's what really happened. But, I mean, isn't she supposed to hold the dagger because she was Lady Kira?
Yes.
Yeah, so... Although there have been some twists and turns, that is the truth of what happened. Alright, I won't get anywhere until I can eliminate the dagger. Most impressive, your benevolence. I see no inconsistencies anywhere in the prosecution's case. No, there is one.
Stuff is not true.
I mean, seriously. I mean, they had to do all this editing to get no inconsistencies. Maybe the defense is onto something? Try as you might, the outcome will always be the same. I think she's eventually going to realize that this is a piece of evidence, and that's a good thing. Yeah, it's gotta have something to do with the weapon.
Maybe the weapon is heavy. It's gotta be heavy. It's the only thing that we haven't talked about, and he's feeling heavy for the pain.
Yeah, like, why is he?
Objection!
I still hear the music, though.
I'm not pointing that at the right time, but it could still be.
That's possible.
Right here would be the heavy. If we don't think it's blade that's...
Objection!
I still hear the music. Yeah, let's not rush it. Let's look at our evidence.
Go back to that. So the weapon is thought to be a door back dagger. I mean, that fountain is awfully flashy.
Yeah.
And, is the fountain true?
Yes. So maybe that was the heavy. Maybe the fountain was the heavy.
But how would that thing push them against the fountain?
Like it would turn around, but I don't know. But I wouldn't be surprised if it has something to do with the fountain.
Because the prongs on that are really bloody.
Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it wasn't. I mean, it. We thought that it might be the murder weapon for the last victim. Either it was the last victim or this victim. But I think at least one of them was killed by it, and the other one was killed by a dagger. Maybe this guy was the one who was killed by the. Well, see, I wonder if the dagger was put in afterwards and he was actually killed by one of the spikes in the fountain.
That's what I'm saying.
No, but you just said dagger. You literally just said dagger.
So I think that the first guy who was murdered really got the dagger. The second guy, I think it might be the fountain, and they just staged it with the dagger.
Yeah, because we see in the seance vision Kira with the dagger. So, let's see. Because I think basically we kind of know, but we're just trying to figure out how to find the contradiction. Let's consult. Don't give up yet, Nick. I mean, what about that insight? You know, the one that said the victim stood with his hands on the stone slab in the hideout. Something about that doesn't seem to match up with the deceased sensations.
Oh, it does look that's getting closer, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, did they push that on him and then he went into the fountain? That's turning the other way?
That could be, like, maybe actually, yes, somebody actually pushed this at him and he went into the fountain.
Because we do see
Objection!
the blood where it moved.
Yeah, so the victim was originally thought to have been stabbed while bent over in prayer, but he was actually standing with his hands against the stone slab. So the question is, where did the sensation of something heavy come from? Yes, I see your point. So as the victim was standing, he couldn't have been held down. Eep. Then tell us, Mr. Wright, what was that heavy sensation felt by the victim? What caused the heavy sensation Zeh'lot felt? Any thoughts, Maya? I agree that sense of heaviness seems important, but there's also the matter of Zeh'lot's hands on the stone slab. Why were they even there? Could it be related to the cause of the heavy sensation? Well, Mr. Wright, do you have an answer for us? Of course! I just envisioned the state Zeh'lot was in when he was killed. The cause of the heaviness, victim... Yep, I think so. The only conceivable cause is the stone slab falling over, trapping the victim underneath. What? Oh, the stone slab came falling down on him, crushing him underneath. Right, that was the cause of the heavy sensation of the victim. Yeah. While your theory is impressive, you have overlooked a key fact. The victim was not crushed to death, rather he was stabbed. Oh yeah! Or do you claim the dagger was plunged in after the slab had fallen on him? Plus, had the killer been behind the victim, they would have both been crushed together. Well, would you care to explain? Because they weren't there. How could the dagger have been plunged in after the slab fell on the victim? The killer couldn't have plunged the dagger into the victim after the slab fell on him. What if the murder weapon wasn't what we thought it was? Well, there were other weapons in the rebel hideout. The entrance to the hideout is right by the stone slab. There isn't enough space between the two to use any of the weapons found within. Yeah, there's not much space by the entrance, is there? So what was the real murder weapon then? I better think of something. If the murder weapon wasn't the dagger, then the dagger must have been plunged into the victim after he was already dead. That means he was stabbed at least twice, but the autopsy doesn't mention that. And he must have been stabbed in the same spot with something shaped like a dagger. Would the defense care to offer an explanation sometime this century? Wait, wasn't there something dagger-like near the scene of the crime? Yes, there was. Something that had a shape similar to the Warbat dagger? Present your evidence at this time, Mr. Wright. So, I guess it could be that, or maybe the map.
Take that!
Is this not the photo from the scene of the High Priest murder? Are you suggesting the murder weapon is hidden herein?
Take that!
But that is the Warbat statue. Exactly. The Warbat statue has dagger-like feathers protruding from it. That is what really took the victim's life.
Objection!
You imbecilic fool! The statue is outside of the hideout. How do you propose it impaled someone who was inside? Haven't you heard? The Warbat statue also functions as the hideout's door. What do you mean? Yeah. The statue. By the way, I found out by watching that trailer for Ace Attorney Investigations. I didn't realize the song from that meme about the outdated autopsy report was one of the songs from Ace Attorney Investigations. The statue can pull a complete switcheroo. A switcheroo? To put it simply, it's a revolving door. A revolving door? Well, that makes perfect sense. Therefore, I believe the truth behind the divination seance to be this. As the victim entered the secret hideout, the stone sculpture came toppling toward him. He threw up his hands to stop it, but its weight forced him backwards. Fortunately, the Warbat statue was right behind him. This cannot be. But the accused's fingerprints were found on the dagger. She had held it while rehearsing for the rite, which is when her prints got on it. That is a shocking turn of events, but there's a great deal of circumstantial evidence in the defense's favor. I believe we must accept that the Warbat statue was what killed the victim.
Oh, that could be that. I'm not complaining, but other parts are like, oh, well, it's really good. And you're like, oh, I just did like umpteen times. And you're like, oh yeah, it's fun. Sure.
Well, because sometimes it is, and sometimes it isn't, babe. Now that we know how Acolyte Zeh'lot really met his demise, there's no basis for claiming my client committed this crime. Nice work, Nick. I love Maya. How can this be happening yet again? The divination seance is the only truth. Know your benevolence. It's not the truth itself, but it is a means for shedding light on the truth. Do you understand now? Your kingdom needs lawyers so that they can interpret your insights. But that means I've been misinterpreting the voices of the spirits all this time. Oh, I don't...
There's a conscience and, like, you know...
Yeah! And we haven't seen this pose from her either. Like,
No, but I mean, she's 14, and her parents have told her whole life that she's,
yeah.
fantastic. And now she has like insight and understanding of her repercussions. That's kind of cool. That she
Yeah.
realizes it.
Yeah, that's growth. Your benevolence. Are you unwell? All the color is drained from your face.
So thank you.
I will be fine. Continue your proceedings without me. As you wish. Aww. I feel kind of bad for her. Now then, I would have the defense continue. Please explain what you have learned now that we know how the victim actually died. Acolyte Zeh'lot was killed in the hideout before the High Priest's murder. That means the body found at the Plaza of the Devotion was moved there by the real killer, but only after the Warbat's dagger was thrust into him, to make it look like the murder weapon. That does seem to agree with what we now know. But why would the real killer go to such lengths? I believe stabbing Acolyte Zeh'lot's body with the dagger and moving it to the plaza was a warning from the Twilight Realm, a crime committed for fun to make it look like a serial murder. Yeah. It was an attempt to make my client look like a serial killer. That's right, the real killer planned all of this. This forged serial murder case. They did? That's it, Nick. Keep hammering away. Your reasoning has more holes in it than that cheese you foreigners so enjoy. Yeah. The only thing that has holes was his initial theory. Like those putrid, hole-riddled clumps of curds that only a rat like you could love. Your reasoning, much like your putrid, hole-riddled brain, has putrefied? What's his deal with things going putrid? You have yet to overturn my argument that the accused is the killer. A careful analysis of the chain of events up to the killing exposes the truth as follows.
It's supposed to move people all the way down.
Yeah. And what? Did she with her brute strength overturn that slab? Yeah. Disguised as Lady Kira, the accused found the rebel hideout the day before the riot, but Acolyte Zeh'lot has followed her there after noticing her suspicious behavior. Caught by surprise, she pushed the stone slab toward him, and we know the rest.
It would be really cool if she was channeling Kira and not being too realistic. But hi.
I've never been to the rebel hideout in my life. When the High Priest arrived at the Sanctum the next day, he realized what she had done. That is when the accused murdered him in order to silence him. I believe Prosecutor Sanmati has posed a compelling scenario. The defense, on the other hand, has yet to disprove the accused's guilt. Why would my client move Acolyte Zeh'lot's body to where everyone could see it? And why would she stab the dagger with her fingerprints into his dead body? She had no reason to do any of those things. The dagger in his corpse was likely a warning to the rebels. Something along the lines of Lady Kira will slay the Defiant Dragons. So that is why she moved the body to the plaza for all to see. Now he has the judge convinced too? I thought I'd finally made some headway.
Are lawyers.
Yeah.
And she's a friend of them, like.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Wright, about time for one of your groans of distress, is it not? Groan of distress? It kills me to admit this, but I've got nothing to counter his argument with. And I still haven't disproven the allegations against Maya. Is it not time to end your futile struggle? You were already judged guilty yesterday. That makes you a dead lawyer walking. Accept the death that now awaits you, and in doing so, finally know peace. A dead lawyer walking indeed. Then again, are not all lawyers who practice in Khura'in? But I must admit I misspoke earlier. Allow me to amend my statement. I had said the defense's reasoning had a putrid, cheese-like smell. But I now realize the stench was from his own putrid body on the verge of death. Now I'm a rotting zombie. Think, who could have killed Zeh'lot the day before the riot? Who knew about the rebel hideout? Who could gain access to the inner sanctum? Only those involved with the riot can enter the sanctum, so... Wait a second. Only a rebel would have known about the secret hideout. And the only person who was involved with the riot, had access to the sanctum, and was suspected of being rebel is... Ah! Oh! Yes, except there's one huge problem. A huge problem? What are you two going on about? I see what he's saying. I think he's saying that in me murdered Zeh'lot.
Okay.
Abbott in me. Basically, the previous victim is the murderer. I think that's what he's trying to say. I would not put it past you, considering you have no means to raise further objections. If I don't do something, Prosecutor's son Madhi will have this one in the bag. I'll just have to bluff my way out of this, regardless of that huge problem. Your Majesty, I believe there was another suspect in Prey Zealot's murder. Even the most benevolent Holy Mother could not forgive such a desperate lie. Yeah, because only a rebel would have known about the secret hideout. The only person who was involved with the rite, had access in the site that was suspected of being rebel. Yeah. After all, you know very well that such a person does not exist. No, there is one person who knew everything. Does such a figure truly exist? Tell us, who might that be?
Take that!
It had to be someone allowed to enter the sanctum and who knew of the hideout, and that would be the High Priest. He could have committed the crime if it occurred the day before the rite. You would pin a crime upon the dead, knowing very well they tell no tales. Have you no shame? Dead men tell no tales. That is definitely a problem. If only the High Priest could tell his side of the story. What? Do I have something on my face? Oh, he wants Maya to summon the High Priest. Wait a second, could this actually work? Oh no, don't tell me I have some of my breakfast cup between my teeth. No, if there's even the slightest possibility, I'll have to go with it. Your Majesty, dead men do tell tales. Therefore, I would like to request the High Priest's testimony. His testimony? Just how do you propose we get the deceased to testify? There's a way... channeling. Summon him here by means of spirit channeling. What did you just say? Spirit channeling? Has this lawyer finally gone insane? That is sacrilege. May the Holy Mother strike him down. Peace. I am frankly astonished you even know of such a thing. But spirit channeling is a secret art that only Her Eminence Queen Khura'in can perform. And Her Eminence is far too busy with other duties to perform it at our pleasure. I suspected as much. That means our only hope is... It's okay, Nick. You can tell them. But Maya, I thought you wanted to keep it a secret here in Khura'in. Don't worry, it's not like it's against the law or violates some religious precepts, so I don't think we'll be punished. At least I hope not. But this is a crucial period for you. It'll decide whether you become Master of Khura'in. We don't have any other choice now, do we? If I'm found guilty, it'll be a lot worse than not becoming Master of Khura'in. Yeah. Alright, thanks, Maya. Actually, there is someone here who is capable of channeling spirits. But even her benevolence, Princess Rafa, finds the divination seance to be a challenge. Who could possibly have greater spiritual power than she, aside from the Queen? That would be me. Is this some sort of a joke? A foreigner could not possibly have such power. Even the royal priestess is incapable of such a feat. Peace, peace, I say. Is this true? Is the accused capable of performing the secret art of spirit channeling? Well, yes, I can. Now, Your Majesty, we'd like your permission to begin. Oh, Rafa's back. Your benevolence. This is an outrage, I say. First, you make a mockery of the divination seance, and now spirit channeling. Your benevolence speaks the truth. Spirit channeling is a sacred rite. Foreign devils, I say this should be put to death immediately. Still your voices. Barbed head, spirit channeling is a most sacred and secret of arts. Are you prepared to face the consequences of what you propose? Yes, I am. Your benevolence, are you saying you approve of their use of spirit channeling? I will judge whether their claim is true. If this is but another one of their lies, they shall be executed on the spot. Very well, then. Your benevolence? What if the accused accidentally calls forth an evil spirit? Do you truly believe this foreigner is capable of channeling spirits?
No, but I wanted to be sure, as I am responsible for the safety of all present. While an inexperienced practitioner could inadvertently call forth a dangerous spirit, but do not fear, for I have a Megatama of Parting. With it, I can send spirits back to the Twilight Realm by halting the flow of spiritual power. That is a relief indeed. These foreigners have thrown down the gauntlet. Let us not shirk from their challenge. We must prove them guilty and deliver their last rites. Do I make myself clear, Prosecutor Sanmati? Perfectly, Your Benevolence. Very well, the accused may channel the High Priest spirit, but first we must take a short recess to prepare. We will resume as soon as the preparations are complete. Until then, this court is adjourned. She's got a little bit to go before she is totally grown. But I think she's making progress. Man, oh man. So we're saying the first victim is a murderer.
But maybe he had a reason to murder him because, we still haven't discussed his wife being pregnant.
Yeah.
He's 20 years older than what he said he was. So maybe there's something on there.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. Whew. And then, after that, then we have to really figure out then who murdered the High Priest. And maybe we'll find that out through the channeling. So,
I might have a little bit more in me.
Okay. Let's go a little further. We may not finish, but... Sorry, Maya, but this was the only way. You sure you're up for this? Thanks for believing in me, Nick. Even though I don't know if my channeling ability is on point yet. Oh, right. Before she started training here, her success rate was only about 30%. I know you can do it, Maya. At least I hope she can. So you sure you're ready? Yeah, at least I think so. You don't sound so confident. What about all your training? Training's one thing, actually doing it is another. Oh, I see. Uh-oh. If she fails to channel the High Priest, we're as good as dead. Relax, Nick. You can count on me. I'll show you what my training's done for me. This will be a moment you never forget. Okay. Just hope it's unforgettable in a good way. Once we hear Abbot Inme's story, I'm sure the truth will come to light. I hope so, but he was hiding the fact that he was a rebel, so I doubt it'll be as cut and dried as all that. They are ready for you. Please return to the Hall of Justice at once. Okay, Maya, I'm counting on you. You got it. Here we go. We have received official approval for the accused to channel a spirit here today. Now, if you will, Miss Faye, please proceed. Yes, Your Magistrate. I can't believe this. Only the Queen should channel spirits. Execute them. Put them to death right now. Come on, Maya. I'm counting on you. I have been studying here in Khura'in for 2 years now, so that one day I will be the master of Khura'in, a village of spirit mediums back home. But first I shall show you all the fruits of my training in your kingdom. Wow, she seems really confident. A neophyte practitioner such as you cannot possibly channel a spirit.
Like, we're distantly related.
Oh dear. Okay, Your Benevolence, how about this? If I succeed, will you stop calling me a neophyte? Very well, if you succeed. Oh, I will, just you watch. But is it going to happen the first time?
She's older now and more refined, so I think
The spirit of trust in me slumbering and return now to the world of the living. We've never seen a transformation happen right away, though. Like, we always see, like, Mia after. Oh my god!
that's creepy.
What is this place? Oh my! No! This cannot be! Blanca! It's the High Priest! The accused really can channel spirits! I don't believe it! The accused's spiritual power is the real deal. Oh Maya. I do not understand. This cannot be. This simply cannot be.
I must step out now before I forget myself. I'm a little disturbed, honestly. Abbott in me. Would this be the Twilight Realm? And what of this luxurious main affair? Is it perhaps a gift from the Holy Mother for decades of faithful service? Abbott in me? Aye, if it isn't His Majesty. Have you too shuffled out off that mortal coil? Please do not count me among the dead. It is only you who has passed on. But the spirit medium Maya Fey has brought you back among us today. Why? Acolyte Fey has mastered the secret art of spirit channeling. I suppose that explains these gorgeous locks. When I pass from this world, I too hope to be channeled with a full head of hair. Though it be for the briefest of moments, I give thanks for the splendid coiffure. Praise be to the Holy Mother. However, this kimono is a bit too snug for my taste, if you would excuse me. There, that is better. Could we get to his testimony now? And I wish he'd kept his top on. Why, you are that foreign lawyer the people speak of as of late. And is this not the Hall of Justice? Why have I been summoned here? Forgive us for calling you back from your eternal rest. But you have been accused of murder. Might we ask you to testify on your own behalf? I've been accused of murder? That is troubling indeed. Ah! What's that crazy pose? Is this really cause for such astonishment? Even the lowliest of monks can achieve such body control with the proper training. Oh, I wonder if Albie will be able to do that someday. Will the defense please explain the situation to the High Priest? I'd be happy to. Your disciple, Pray Zeh'lot, has been murdered. It happened on the day before the Purification Rite. And the crime occurred in the rebel hideout hidden within the inner sanctum. Acolyte Zeh'lot, he has been killed? Who would do such a thing? Someone who knew of the hideout and had access to the inner sanctum. In other words, you, Abbott in me. After all, weren't you secretly a rebel? Oh dear. That's still Maya's body. I hope he doesn't break anything. Wow, the High Priest is amazing. I think he had mastered such an advanced prayer pose. He's still worthy of our veneration, even if he is a rebel. Praise be to the Holy Mother. Oh my, have my rebel allegiances been exposed? Not even my wife knew of that. It seems to rest in peace is not my fate. Why did you, a devout priest of Khura'ism, join the rebellion? The High Priest has come back to us for but a brief time, Defense. Shall we not cut to the chase and ask the most pressing of questions? Oh, right. Abbott in me, the prosecution believes the one who slew both you and Acolyte Zeh'lot to be Maya Fey, who had been playing the role of Lady Kira in the rite. Being that I was dead until just a moment ago, my memory is a bit hazy. Could you please do your best to remember? The High Priest says his memory is hazy. It's all coming back to me. Slain by none other than Maya Fey. The High Priest's statement has proven my assertions with regards to his murder correct. No! But what about Acolyte Zeh'lot? You were the one who killed him, weren't you? I know not about my disciples. Furthermore, I have an alibi of my own. An alibi? Seriously? Ha 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 ha. It seems the testimony the defense had been hoping for is working against him. Now, Abbott and me, your testimony, if you please. Yes, of course. I don't know why he's lying, but I guess we're gonna find...
The wife, maybe?
That could be it. Because he is lying. I have an ironclad alibi for the time during which the murder took place. Just past noon on the day before the ride, I was entertaining guests at my home. And I believe my guests can corroborate this. You had guests? Just past noon, that's right about the time Zeh'lot was murdered. Are you sure about that? Absolutely. Come to think of it, Rafe had told me about a spirit's memory. A spirit's memory is cut off at the moment of death. So even a spirit that is brought back after centuries doesn't sense any gap in time between the moment of his death and the moment it is channeled. Yes, and yet it clearly recalls all of the memories it had in life. The High Priest seems to know exactly what he's talking about. So the question is, what would be the best angle of attack?
Hold it!
You used the word alibi as if it were second nature. Are you perhaps mocking me? Or is it perhaps the kingdom of Khura'in itself you wish to ridicule? This guy?
Yeah. He would have never been a lawyer. He uses alibi.
Oh, yeah, because he's a rebel.
Yeah.
Mr. Wright, would you care to clarify your last statement? Please, don't take it the wrong way. It's just alibi is a rather technical term for a priest to use so naturally. I assure you I know how to use the term. In fact, I had even hoped for a chance to do so one day. I suppose that even I, a high priest, am not amused to such trivial worldly attachments.
I wonder if he's dirt.
Oh, that would be something. Still, he seems unusually calm and composed. It's almost as if he had prepped himself for something like this.
Hold it!
Guests? And you were entertaining them personally. That I was. We gathered around the table for a most enjoyable conversation. He said his guests could corroborate his alibi. That can't be good for our case. Are you sure that was the same day as the murder? Maybe you've misremembered. Ka! Do not doubt my mnemonic faculties. I may have died, but my memories up to that point are crystal clear. Sorry, he's pretty thin-skinned for a priest. Though I guess I should have known better than to doubt his memory. There's nothing better than enjoying gingle cuisine with dear friends. That way everyone's breath becomes equally malodorous. Right.
Hold it!
And who exactly were your guests that day? Don't tell me they were rebels, so they can't be called here to testify. It was none other than his Majesty along with his family. He couldn't attend the rite due to work, so he stopped by ahead of time. My, how his daughter has grown. Wait a second. Let me set the record straight right now. I am not a rebel. Thank you for that wonderful meal, Abbot Inme. Lady Inme's cooking simply cannot be beat. So there you have it. When exactly was His Majesty at your home? He was there from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Indeed, precisely the time period within which Acolyte Zeh'lot was slain. Yes, and we had a rousing chat concerning the game of Catch-a-Dem-all. Yeah. I'll just have that added to the testimony. After all, it was I who visited the High Priest's home.
Hold it!
Your Majesty, are you sure this testimony is completely accurate? Sure can be. Oh, how wonderful it is to finally have my actions be admissible as evidence in court. His Majesty was at my home during the exact time period of the murder. Actually, no, he wasn't. It was just the four of them. His wife, him, Maya. We have the...
When you say that, you should have read that instead of saying.
Yeah.
Did the clock have the same exact?
Now do you understand, lawyer? Oh. Sorry, I didn't realize he was here. As you can see, my alibi is airtight. Or do you still think I could have killed Acolyte Zeh'lot? His Majesty's a witness? Are you satisfied now? There is not a single discrepancy in Abbot Inme's alibi. If I give up now, it's all over. Now, hold on a second. Is there anything wrong with the High Priest testimony? Yes. There is a discrepancy in the High Priest testimony. There is?
Well, then perhaps you could explain what it might be. The prayer feast was short. He's too friendly with the judge. He knew the time of the crime. Yeah, wait a minute. How does he know that? We didn't tell him.
True.
After Abbot Inmee was channeled, no one ever stated what time Acolyte Zeh'lot was murdered. Now that you mention it, despite that you claim to have an alibi from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., that means you knew that Acolyte Zeh'lot was dead when you were still alive. Wait, I think I saw something just now. No, I must be imagining things. So tell me, how did you know what time the crime had been committed? About that. Open your heart, let the Holy Mother in. Why, we've been blessed with the High Priest's sacred words of prayer. All who serve her holiness must strive to banish worldly desires from their soul. Open your heart, let the Holy Mother in. Purge your mind of greed and bias. I feel as if my very soul has been cleansed. You can't fool me. Prayer may banish worldly desires, but it cannot make a contradiction disappear. Oh, shut up, Sanmati. See, he's shutting up, just like I told him to. How can you be so sure? What's that supposed to mean? This lawyer seems to think little of the power of Khura'inist prayer. Huh? Abbot Inmee was at home during the crime but knew of what happened at the hideout. I believe this can explain thusly. He must have had a way to monitor the hideout from his home. What? He never ceased to amaze, prosecutor. As he has surmised, there was a listening device installed at the hideout. It enabled me to instantly learn if anything unusual, even when I was not there. Remember, the rebels had been using this as a top-secret hideout. It would be perfectly natural for them to install such an apparatus. Wait, come to think of it, when I was searching the rebel hideout, there was something under the banner. A microphone? What's this doing here? Oh yeah, I remember that. That was a listening device? It starts recording whenever it detects movement. And I heard just such a recording after His Majesty and family left. If you look in the desk in my study, you will find the tape in question. Alright then, bailiff. Yes, your majesty. Go retrieve the tape in question from the High Priest's home. At once, your majesty. The power of Khura'inist prayer. Even a putrid brain such as yours should understand it now. It's like the contradiction really did vanish. We shall ascertain the content of the recording once we have the tape. In the meantime, I would ask Abbot Inmee to continue with his testimony. Very well. I was entertaining His Majesty and his family when the crime occurred. When I listened to the tape later, I heard a man and a woman quarreling. It sounded like an altercation between Acolyte Zeh'lot and Acolyte Faye. After that, there was a loud noise followed by haunting silence. I have to find some way to attack his alibi. If only Maya were here. She has a way of putting me at ease. But seeing her like this is only creeping me out. Though the High Priest was a rebel, he was still a Khura'inist holy man. Therefore, take care in your questioning, lest you invoke the ire of our people. How dare he suspect the High Priest? May the Holy Mother strike him blind. As if this wasn't hard enough already. Nice try, but I'll stop at nothing to find the truth.
Hold it!
You were entertaining His Majesty and his family during the crime. Indeed, my wife believed was treating them to her wonderful home cooking. Your wife was there that day. Why, yes, she was in the kitchen cooking up a storm the entire time. Come to think of it, I don't think I saw her at all that day. She takes her culinary duties most seriously, you see. That is why she was in the kitchen cooking without pause the entire day. So the judge never saw Mrs. Inmee. Yep, at it.
But then why was she in this photo?
Objection!
Whoops. Not that person. It'll bring us back.
Hold it!
What was your wife making that day? The menu that day featured hot and soupes and melton mott. They are both traditional Khura'inese dishes. I can't even begin to imagine what those are. Ah, yes! The exquisite zest in hot and soupes and the supreme texture of melton mott.
Same thing, because they can only eat the jingle stuff.
Yeah! Lady Inme's cooking that day was utterly unforgettable. Thank you, it brings me great joy to know you enjoyed your meal. Now, once His Majesty and family had left...
Hold it!
You heard everything from a recording? Indeed. Each night I would secretly check what the listening device had recorded. I would have been in serious trouble with my lovely wife had she discovered my secret. Can you really tell what happened by the audio alone? Long years of aesthetic training have sharpened my hearing. It is but a simple matter for me to ascertain a situation by the sounds I hear. Practicing Khura'ism improves your hearing. Hearing is but one of the senses it can improve. If one can focus and attain inner peace, all 5 senses can be sharpened. Why, the warbat over in the bazaar just cried. Did you not hear it? Give me a break.
Hold it!
Hold on, are you sure about those voices? Was it really Acolyte Zeh'lot and Miss Faye? I'd say that was the most reasonable conclusion under the circumstances. Perhaps Acolyte Faye has an alibi that you can prove. I'm afraid not. And I suggest you make like a mollusk and clam up. Now I will continue my testimony if I may.
Hold it!
A loud noise, I'd say that's worth looking into. It was a terrible crashing sound. Poor Acolyte Zeh'lot must have felt so heavy.
How did you know?
Yeah. It must have been the sound of that stone slab falling over. Should I have him add that to his testimony? Yeah?
Hold it!
You believe that terrible crash is connected to Acolyte Zeh'lot's death? Yes, the sound, no doubt, was poor Zeh'lot's death now. Such a tragedy, for he was a fine disciple. I would ask all here today to give a prayer for his departed soul. Shushire Matami Yoma. I had high hopes for that young man's future. Shushire Matami Yoma. Why do I feel like such a jerk for just trying to do my job right now? Mr. Wright? Do you still feel the need to question the High Priest? His alibi is as tight can be. This isn't going so well. I'd better ask him about something else. I'm curious, evidently. Did you stop by the rebel hideout after His Majesty left? Yes, I thought it would be wise to assess the situation. But as I said before, there was nothing to see. The hideout appeared as it always had. And the victim's body? It was nowhere to be found. Acolyte Faye must have already disposed of it and anything else incriminating. So when you saw the rebel hideout, it looked like it does in this photo. Yes, I would say that is how it appeared that day. So the stone slab had been put back in place. Mr. Wright, is it not time to concede defeat? No way, I need just a little more time. If you insist. Wait, yeah, then it's that picture. Because if it's so frickin' heavy, then why is it already back? And how is it...
Objection!
Her who put it back? Abbot in me, you said, and I quote, "Poor Zeh'lot, it must have felt so heavy." Why do you think he felt something heavy? You said the hideout looked like it did in this photo.
If so, there's nothing that would lead you to believe he had experienced a heavy feeling. The fact is, of course, a stone slab did fall over onto Acolyte Zeh'lot, impaling him on the Warbat statue behind him. But that was only revealed through her benevolence's divination seance earlier. Would the defense please get to the point? My point is simply hearing a crashing sound shouldn't have automatically led him to conclude the victim was crushed to death. I still don't see your point. I'm saying that the High Priest knew. He knew how the victim was really killed. Why? And that is information only the real killer could have known. I definitely saw it that time. Got the High Priest's spirit shaking in his boots, or should I say sins. Need I remind you, Abbot Inmee was with his magistrate at the time of the crime? Such an alibi precludes him from being the killer? That's true, so he can't be the killer. However, he knew how Zeh'lot was killed, something only the killer could know. Can this discrepancy be resolved somehow? I guess it can. Well, Mr. Wright, we're waiting for an explanation. I was just getting to that. Time to think of something quick. Real culprit. He was his wife. He must have heard how the victim died from the real killer. The real killer? Of course, that makes perfect sense. I don't want to believe it, but this is the only possible explanation. So tell us, who is this real killer? It's got to be someone close to the High Priest, someone without an alibi. Yep.
Take that!
Your Majesty, while you were visiting the High Priest's home, you didn't see Mrs. Inmee at all, did you? Now, I never saw her, but what does that have to do with anything? Did the High Priest ever leave your sight? No, we were talking the entire time, and the food was brought right to the room's entryway. So the High Priest has an ironclad alibi. But his wife does not. What the devil are you insinuating? I'm insinuating that Mrs. Inmee might have killed Acolyte Zeh'lot.
Objection!
You have a lot of nerve making such a baseless allegation. She had no motive to kill Acolyte Zeh'lot. He was like family to her. No, we can't entirely discount the idea. Especially if you consider that Mrs. Inmee could have been the one posing as Lady Kira. Even a fool must temper his foolishness at times. Or do you truly believe Lady Kira would kill Acolyte Zeh'lot, though he was not a rebel? As we all know, the High Priest was secretly a rebel. It would follow that his favorite disciple could very well be a rebel. Are you suggesting that Mrs. Inmee killed her husband as well? As sad as it is to think she'd kill her own husband to rid the kingdom of rebels, I don't think we can rule it out. Yikes! You claim my wife is that rebel-hunting Lady Kira? And that she slew both Zeh'lot and myself? My lovely wife? That is utterly... Yikes. I have never seen the High Priest so angry. It is as Abbot Inmee stated. And the accused has already been found guilty of this murder. It is far too late to overturn it. That's right, Mr. Wright. Now apologize to the good priest before he gets angry again. Quickly now. No, I'm not going to apologize. The true identity of Lady Kira is a major piece to this trial's puzzle. Admit it, Abbot Inmee, your wife, Lady Inmee, killed you. Yet even now you continue to lie in an effort to protect her. How absurd. It appears the lawyer has forgotten. My lovely wife could not possibly battle the rebels in the guise of Lady Kira, for we were blessed by her holiness and she is with child. Praise be to the Holy Mother. I completely forgot about that.
I did it.
Yeah, that abominable Lady Kira figure who slew me and Acolyte Zeh'lot was the accused. This is bad, but I can't give up now. Don't forget, my client doesn't have the strength to fight rebels either. How could a weak young woman like her possibly? Yeah, you foolish oak of a lawyer. If only you were as blessed as Lady Inmee. What? Surely the accused possesses the strength, or should I say the power. The power to battle those black-hearted rebels. What are you talking about? My good prosecutor, I see you have come to the same conclusion as I. Such keen insight. And you have figured it out as well, evidently. May I ask you to explain it to this putrid-brained lawyer? Certainly, for I cannot allow him to frame my lovely wife for murder. Foreign devil! Your Majesty, allow me to testify as to how my affair is that murderous Lady Kira. Well, if it would assuage your anger, then by all means please testify. Acolyte Faye channeled Lady Kira's spirit. She is a spirit medium who knows Lady Kira's true name, so she could have done it. So it was the real Lady Kira who returned to root out the rebels among us. She attacked and killed me with a strength far beyond an immortal woman. But, do you understand now? Murder by spirit channeling explains everything. This is the only way the accused could have defeated one rebel after another. Indeed, I am a living, or shall I say dead proof of her terrible power. Ugh. Maya's ability to channel spirits has come back to haunt her. Now, is it not time to let it go and move on, defense? No, never. I'll never give up. Now what? Think. How can I prove that Maya couldn't have channeled Lady Kira? Well, she doesn't know the name of Lady Kira.
She knew the book, though.
True. One sec.
Not that.
That's the law book.
So we know that she's doing it.
Yeah.
But we also know that in the past, his wife has portrayed a new name. She couldn't be pregnant.
That's right.
So more than one woman knew the name.
Okay.
Hold it!
Let's press him a bit. My client, Channel Lady Kira, isn't that a little far-fetched? Far-fetched, you say? Why, the very fact that I am here proves she has the power to channel spirits. Arg. But you've no proof she actually channeled Lady Kira. Oh, but I do. She is a spirit medium. Knows Lady Kira's true name. While it's true she may be capable of channeling Lady Kira, I doubt there's any proof she actually did. We are talking about the infamous rebel hunter here. That modern-day Lady Kira has captured many a rebel all by herself, and among them have been more than a few great warriors. Who but the real Lady Kira could have accomplished such a feat? It would be difficult for a mere mortal. That leaves the real Lady Kira of legend as the only likely killer, or only likely answer. Is this not proof enough that the real Lady Kira of legend has been channeled? The real Lady Kira of legend, that's an oxymoron if I ever heard one. And again, the people of Khura'in believe legends to be true.
Hold it!
Lady Kira is an actual person. Do you really believe there was ever a woman that powerful? One capable of battling rebels much bigger and stronger than herself? There is no way to prove that, but to doubt the existence of Lady Kira is to doubt Khura'inism itself. It is not for us to question, we must simply believe. Yeah, how dare you doubt our legends? You'll regret saying that, you glumkin. Lady Kira's going to strike you down. Nope. I won't get anywhere until I can refute their claims with some evidence.
Hold it!
A strength far beyond any mortal woman. Just how strong would that be? You need but look at the wound she inflicted upon my body. Though I had hoped to never have to think about that again. Your wound, it was pretty deep, and there was a tremendous amount of blood. While Acolyte Zeh'lot was rather small in stature, he was strong. Nevertheless, he was no match for the sheer strength of Lady Kira. My spirit channeling has proved that she's Lady Kira. This is not good. I'll have to prove she didn't channel the original Lady Kira. Let's see. Some town elders see her as Lady Kira in the flesh. Some rumors are fueling the enthusiasm for the day's purification rite. Must know her name. Kitty, are you sad?
Objection!
Double guilty!
Kitty? What are you doing here? The fun place? You're in a tent still hideout? Okay, that's not true. No, you can present the tone here
Objection!
because his wife knew it too.
Tomb of Secrets is only given to the priestess who performs the purification rite. Is this your proof that my client could have channeled Lady Kira? Yes, indeed, for it contains the true name of Lady Kira, a secret only revealed within. Have it in me. I'm afraid you're mistaken. This couldn't have been used to channel Lady Kira. What nonsense! Mr. Wright, would you care to explain? This is why my client couldn't have channeled Lady Kira.
Is it her name? You can't read Khura'in.
Maybe?
Take that!
Nope. I know the answer's here somewhere. I just need to remember the requirements for spirit channeling. Okay, so for channeling,
And there's 2 pages there.
yeah, I just looked at both, hon. This is a second. Let's see. Lady Kira's face is hidden behind a mask in the Tome of Secrets. You need both a name and a face to channel a spirit. Can't be. Without a face, it would have been impossible for my client to channel Lady Kira. Oh my. Therefore, the claim that she had become Lady Kira by means of spirit channeling is patently false. Yarr. And with Lady Kira out of the equation, my client had no motive to commit murder. But then, who is the rebel-hunting Lady Kira we've been reading about in the paper? Yes, who is this other suspect, if indeed there is one at all? Let us hear the defense's brilliant deduction. Think. The true identity of Lady Kira is the key to solving both murders. I thought Mrs. Inby was suspicious, but her pregnancy takes her out of the running. And Mr. Arbel is a rebel, so that doesn't make sense. So that leaves us with, Mr. Wright, you have to say something, but you can't figure out what it is? This is my chance to really turn up the heat. I'll just have to stir the pot till something floats to the top. Your Majesty, I know who's been posing as the rebel-hunting Lady Kira. Do you? Are you sure about that? Yes, completely. I sense that I may regret this, but please go on and explain. Thank you, Your Majesty. So, he's saying the true identity of Lady Kira is the key to solving both murders. I thought Mrs. Inby was suspicious, but her pregnancy takes her out of the running. And Mr. Arbel is a rebel, so that doesn't make sense. That leaves us with, I wonder, could it have been Zeh'lot, maybe?
But he was already dead by the time.
Well, we're talking about the person who was posing as the rebel-hunting Lady Kira. Not as the person who killed him.
Take that!
The true identity of the rebel-hunting Lady Kira we seek is Zeh'lot. What's this? The High Priest's murdered disciple was Lady Kira, you say? Peace, I say, peace. The defense will continue. Yes, Your Majesty, I whittled down the list of suspects until there was only one left. But a process of elimination is not the same as solid evidence. I assume you have evidence to back up your claim? Yes, of course. I will have some in a moment, that is, at least I hope so. Maya wasn't Lady Kira, and neither was Mrs. Enmy or any of the other possibilities. That leaves Zeh'lot, and I have the evidence to prove it. The evidence that proves Acolyte Zeh'lot was posing as Lady Kira is this. I didn't realize we had evidence.
It's the only thing in the house could have delivered that.
That's true.
Take that!
This is what proves that Acolyte Zeh'lot was Lady Kira. Lady Kira's warning letter. How absurd. What could that possibly prove? Prosecutor Sadmati, you stated that this warning letter proved that my client was Lady Kira, and the reason you gave was that the High Priest's house was Loctite. But there was another member of the family who lived there. Ah. Therefore, Acolyte Zeh'lot could have delivered the warning any time he wanted. What is he talking about? That's just not possible. Are you saying Lady Kira was not the culprit, but rather the victim? That's exactly what I'm saying. But that would overturn the entire premise of this case. This trial has proceeded on the assumption Lady Kira was behind the serial killings. But if Lady Kira is one of the victims, who was the killer and what was their motive?
It is true, because he turned him into justice. He didn't kill anybody.
Yeah. The only suspect left is Mrs. Inmy, and there's only one possible motive. What if Mrs. Inmy is a rebel? What? Fee, you're still bent on casting suspicion upon my lovely wife. Blasphemer! You have no evidence of this. Repent for the mistrust in your soul. Well, you have no evidence either. After all, the dagger with my client's prints on it wasn't what killed Acolyte Zeh'lot. And the Plume Punisher theme that he heard could have been an alarm clock. That means all the evidence linking her to the crime has been called into question. Was Lady Inmi a rebel, and did she process Lady Kira to kill Acolyte Zeh'lot? Or was Acolyte Zeh'lot a rebel, and was the accused the Lady Kira who killed him? I would say either scenario is just as likely. What are we to do now? The alarm clock, you say? Do you mean the one in the rebel hideout? Yes, but what of it? So that's it. Oh, it's broken, right? Oh, ha 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 ha. Abbott in me. Just what is so comical? Forgive my outburst. That has simply tickled my funny bone. What did? The theme song came from the Plume Punisher clock, you say? Huh. That alarm could not possibly have gone off. What makes you say that? The clock was working just fine the last time I checked. Try using your head for a change. Would not the existence of a secret hideout be given away if an alarm kept going off? Wait, you don't mean... Indeed, we leave the alarm switched off at all times.
It's from this watch.
Yep.
I saw something. One of the reasons that the guy who escaped from jail, I don't know what
You really take it back, or you don't?
I was wondering if this guy is actually dirt. Because remember that one dude that's in jail in the sewer waiting on him? And he's just, I'm not going to wait around anymore for like...
Right, Arbol.
Yeah, because I think dirt and Indy might be the same person.
This can't be happening, not now. Oh yeah, like you knew about the alarm clock. The theme song the victim heard was from the accused strap, just as we suspected. Therefore, the accused of the rebel hunting Lady Kira and the victim's killer. No, because they traded it! That Plume Punisher theme song Acolyte Zeh'lot heard in his final moments, I too heard it by way of the listening device. Did you really? If you had heard it, why didn't you testify to the fact before? Isn't that obvious? I did not know such a tune could become a key matter of dispute. Yes, the matter of the theme song came up before Abbott Enemy was channeled. Alright, well then, what if he's lying about the Clark's alarm being switched off? Miserable wretch. That would be a pointless lie, one easily disproven. If you check the clock, you will see the alarm is in fact switched off. Come to think of it. What a fine item. And the switch, if I'm right. We set the switch back into the off position before we left. I remember hearing it clearly. Those distinctive taiko drums in the intro are etched in my mind. They went... Daka-don-don-don, don-don-don-don. Distinctive taiko drums in the intro. This trial's gone on far too long. Shall we move ahead to the verdict phase now? By all means, and let us also return Abbott Envy's spirit to the Twilight Realm. Before I go, let me say a word to my Baron's wife. Now, hold on just 1 minute. Your Majesty, yes? The High Priest's statement is inconsistent with a certain piece of evidence. It is? Still you writhe in defiance of your fate. The very sight reminds me of a tortured soul writhing in flames. You won't be saying that once I show you the evidence. All I'll have to do is pick the right one. This piece of evidence is inconsistent with that statement about the taiko drum intro. I think we have,
All of them eating at the table.
all of them eating at the table is inconsistent?
Because she has the watch.
But that wouldn't be inconsistent with the taiko drums. I think it's
Take
this.
that!
This is what's inconsistent with a statement. My client's Plume Punisher strap. What does that have to do with anything? It plays the Plume Punisher theme song. Here it is. The theme to the Plume Punisher Warrior of Neo Twilight Realm. Yeah, there's no drums yet. I think the only one that has a drum at the beginning is Steel Samurai. Do you see what I mean? The music the victim heard in his final moments might not have been the Plume Punisher theme song. I'm afraid I am not following you. What was it, if not the Plume Punisher theme? The Steel Samurai. There was no taiko drums in the intro of the Plume Punisher theme, so what Acolyte Zeh'lot actually heard in his final moments was the theme of the Steel Samurai Warrior of Neo World Tokyo. Peace, 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 I say. Mr. Wright, what is the Steel Samurai of which you speak? Steel Samurai Warrior of Neo World Tokyo is an action hero show from America. The Plume Punisher theme is a total rip-off. If you didn't know about the Steel Samurai, you could easily mistake the two. But the fact that Acolyte Zeh'lot heard music from an American action hero show is irrefutable evidence that the accused was in the secret hideout. Actually, no, you have it backwards. Backwards? That's right, Miss Faye met an avid Plume Punisher fan here in Khura'in. As a token of their friendship, she traded a certain Steel Samurai item she had for the Plume Punisher strap. And this avid Plume Punisher fan was the one who killed Acolyte Zeh'lot? Yes. And that avid fan is none other than the High Priest's wife, Believe in Me. And I think this is where the picture comes in. Do you have evidence to back up this claim? You bet. I doubt you would tolerate yet another dose of your baseless slander. I suggest you prepare yourself to face Her Holiness's wrath. Oh, wow. All four? Very well, then. Please present your evidence, if you would, defense. The evidence that proves Mrs. Emily was the one who killed Acolyte Zeh'lot is this.
Take that!
It's right here in this family photo. Proof that Mrs. Inmee and Miss Faye traded items featuring their favorite characters. A family photo? And what exactly should we be looking at here? Proof that they exchanged items featuring their favorite characters is right here. I mean, this is Steel Samurai.
Take that!
Look at Mrs. Inmee's left wrist. You can see the Steel Samurai's trademark top knot right there. Which clearly makes this a Steel Samurai watch. Why, I never knew your wife had such hobbies, Abbott and me. This family photo was taken right before Acolyte Zeh'lot was murdered. By that point, my client had the Punisher strap and Mrs. Inmee had the Samurai watch. So what the victim heard in his final moments was none other than the sound of the watch Mrs. Inmee was wearing. I wish to amend my testimony. What I thought were taiko drums was something else. My wife never had such a watch. It's the truth I tell you. You must believe me, your majesty. Be not deceived by the defense's lawyerly whatever. He's been pretty quiet up to this point. What does he have up his sleeve? There was a big gaping hole in his flimsy claim. Big gaping hole? I don't think so. Oh no, I'm afraid it is there, alright. Just like the big gaping holes in your putrid brain. My brain is neither putrid nor full of holes. I'm not a zombie, after all. As says the dead lawyer walking. He who is narrow of vision, focusing on what is before him, never seeing the big picture. Or, as they say in your country, you cannot see the forest for the trees. For it is as you said. And Lady Inmee, the rebel, slew Acolyte Zeh'lot, the rebel-hunting Lady Kira. Then the rebel hunter would have been dead before the High Priest was slain. Ah, that means the High Priest could not have been slain by the rebel-hunting Lady Kira. So, hold on. Lady Inmee, the rebel Blue Acolyte Zealot, the Rebel Hunting Lady Kira. Then the Rebel Hunter would have been slain dead before. Okay. Yeah. How could I have missed that? So tell me, who are you going to say killed the High Priest now? Do you finally understand the sheer size of the holes that riddle your putrid braid? Ack, I'm in hot water now. I don't have any other suspects in the High Priest's murder. You mindless zombie. You should have begun your journey into the Twilight Realm long ago. Now let it go and move on. Oh, you're about to have to. Alright, let's figure it out with one of those sequences. Yeah! Alright, let's wrap this up. If Acolyte Zealot had been Lady Kira, he couldn't have killed the High Priest. So the question is, who did? Maybe I can get to the bottom of this by reviewing the events of this case in order. The events of this case in order. What evidence could tell me something about the crime scene before the murder?
My sister was the blood.
Yes. Yes. I agree. Oh right, Maya said that the spring had been stained red before the rite even began. The spring was already red before the High Priest murder because of Zealot's blood. Yeah. That's right, Zealot had been killed in the rebel hideout the day before the rite, and his blood had flowed into the spring. Wait a second, the High Priest knew that Zeh'lot had been killed in the hideout. So why didn't he report it to the authorities? If Maya had been the killer, he could have easily had her arrested on the spot. Why didn't the High Priest inform the authorities right then? He threatened Maya to keep the hideout hidden. I could see that. I don't know why he would have to threaten Maya with it. If he reported Zeh'lot's murder, the authorities would find out about the hideout. That's what he was worried about. But by going through with the rite, the High Priest risked having Maya see the spring running red with blood. Why did he have to go through with the rite? Did he want to kill Maya? Set up the scene during it. Kill Maya? I don't see that. Set up the scene, right? Do you want to kill Maya, or do you want to set up the scene during it? Yeah, I don't think you want to kill Maya at all. He wanted to set up the crime scene. But how was he planning on concealing the source of the blood in the spring? He didn't use Maya's blood. Not that I know of. He used his own blood? Did he? Yeah, because I don't see anything about emptying the spring. He concealed the source of the blood with his own. This was how he kept the rebel hideout a secret. It's all starting to fall into place. I know who killed the High Priest. It was...
Yes, but how'd they get the knife away then? If he committed suicide?
Let's...
I mean, it could be a suicide, because that's how he stained it with his own blood.
And we did raise the possibility of,
Being stabbed from behind, right? Or like this.
well, no, the fountain having the Lady Kira on it. Remember Lady Kira's outfit? We had raised the possibility the first day of the trial that what he saw was not a person, but an actual... But the fountain with Lady Kira's garb on it?
Look it up.
I mean, I would assume in his dying things, I don't know. Unless his wife killed him.
Somebody had to move your body and put, well, I guess he would have done that before he did all this. By himself.
I can't believe it. The High Priest took his own life to keep the rebel hideout a secret. The High Priest wasn't murdered by anyone. He took his own life to keep the rebel hideout a secret. See? And that's what I was telling you. They put the... What's this? The High Priest committed suicide? I never heard anything more absurd. The lawyer has placed a stain on the good priest's death with his putrid brain. Its putrid gaping holes are as large as the hole in his logic. What hole? You still fail to understand. You truly cannot see the forest for the trees. You claim the High Priest took his own life. But have you considered who brought the dagger to the Plaza of Devotion? Ah. After the High Priest was killed, the dagger was thrust into Acolyte Zeh'lot's dead body. Only the accused Maya Fey could have done that. It is as Prosecutor Sadmati says, your claim is rather porous in its logic, and your evidence is too weak. You cannot prove that the High Priest took his own life to conceal the rebel hideout. They're right, the dagger was impaled in Zeh'lot's body, but his body had been placed at the plaza the previous day. Well, Mr. Wright, would you care to respond? Zeh'lot's body was already in the plaza the day before the rite. But what if the dagger was also already in him at the time? The dagger was never at the inner sanctum. Yeah. Yeah, they both died. That's what I'm saying. They put the Lady Kira thing on the fountain. It had already been stabbed into Acolyte Zeh'lot's body the day before the rite. What? So that means... What does that mean? It means the dagger wasn't the weapon that took the High Priest's life. But no weapon was ever found at the inner sanctum. If you will not listen to reason, then I insist you prove your assertion. Show us what you believe the real murder weapon to be. It's a double murder weapon. Would the defense care to tell us what the real murder weapon is?
Take that!
Whoops.
The pigeon fountain by itself.
Oh yeah! I forgot about that.
Both should have.
Yeah, they really should have done that.
Take that!
What really killed him had been in the inner sanctum all this time, and its lethality had already been demonstrated by the late Acolyte Zeh'lot. That's right, it was the Warbat statue. Oh, gone, is it? You got plunked. You believe that the statue claimed both victims' lives. Would you care to chime in, Abbott and me? Nega. No, he lies. Pay him no heed. Is it his wife? Lady in me. Darling, don't you think this has gone on long enough? Believe, no. Your Majesty, my wife knows nothing. Please, Abbott and me, let your wife speak. Now, Lady in me, please continue if you would. It's that time again. And what time would that be? 2:30 in the afternoon, the time my husband conducts his daily prayers, and the time prey was slain. That sound, it's the Steel Samurai alarm. I too like to pray at the same time as my dear husband, so I set an alarm to remind me each day, but I had no idea it would come to this. No, stop, she knows not what she speaks. Your Majesty, I am the one who slew Acolyte Zeh'lot. Ah! Have it in me. Bailiff, summon a physician at once. Physician, he's dead! The physician is now attending the high priest, so there's no need to fear. Now let us continue. And what about the half of him called Maya that's still among the living? Mrs. Inmate, will you tell us everything you know? The truth is, I am a rebel, just like my husband. This tragedy unfolded before the rite during the Feast of Blessings. I had gone to the rebel hideout to prepare for Dat's escape. And that's when Acolyte Zeh'lot suddenly appeared? Yes, Prey was shocked when he saw me there. Acolyte Zeh'lot did not know you were a rebel? I do not believe he did. I believe he was there simply to investigate the hideout. And then he suddenly came face to face with Mrs. Inmate. So the true identity of the rebel hunting Lady Kira was Prey Zeh'lot. Yes. He was a member of the secret police, serving directly under the Minister of Justice. The secret police? And this is what he said to me. I can kill rebels with impunity. The Justice Minister has my back. He was using his position within the secret police to deal us rebels a heavy blow. But murder sanctioned by the Crown is still murder. The trick up Minister Inga's sleeve was Lady Kira. No, this can't be. My father would never. This must be a bolt out of the blue for Rafa. This explains why Acolyte Zeh'lot abandoned his real name. Yes. He even went as far as covering up the tattoo that all of Khura'in's clergy members receive. Lady Kira was a member of the secret police. That explains why no order was given to investigate her attacks. I guess I'm not alone in hearing this for the first time. But this cannot be! Is this true? The Justice Minister is sanctioning state-sponsored murder? Peace. Now, Lady Inmate, please continue. Prey suddenly lunged at me. That's when I pushed the stone slab toward him with all my might. But I never meant for what happened next to occur. Allow me to take it from here. Have it in me. Are you sure you're alright now? I am sorry you had to see that, but you need not worry about me. I am already dead. Please, we need to know what was so important that you would take your own life. After I learned that my wife had accidentally slain Zeh'lot, I chilled his body with snow to make it seem as if he died more recently than he did. Then I later moved him to the Plaza of Devotion and inserted the dagger into his wound. The plaza was empty at the time, for it was before prayer time had started. Finally, I placed his body in the prayer pose, knowing that no one would notice anything was wrong until the rite had concluded. Well, it's perfectly plausible that no one would disturb him if he seemed to be praying. We do treasure our prayer time, after all. So you admit you tried to pin this crime on Maya Fey? Yes, this was all my doing. I never told my wife of my plan, for surely she would have tried to stop me. How did you get Miss Fey's fingerprint on the dagger? I had her hold it while we were rehearsing the rite the day before. And right before the rite, I drugged her with a sleeping agent. Then I put Lady Kira's robes over the Warbat statue. That means Maya was probably already groggy by the time the rite started. Finally, I ended my own life, ensure that the crime would appear to have been by Acolyte Faye's own hand. But when your body was discovered, Lady Kira's robes were on the ground. How did they end up there if they were on the statue? After I impaled myself on one of the statue's dagger-like feathers, I used the last ounce of my strength to hurl my body backwards. As I did, I grabbed onto the robes, taking them with me as I fell back onto the ground. That's what I thought. You needn't have committed suicide simply to frame the accused. Prosecutor said Madhi, as one well-versed in our kingdom's legal system, I would expect you of all people to understand. Understand what?
Your son is supposedly...
Yeah. This kingdom's legal system, Mrs. Inmee's crime, your suicide? It can't be. That would be sadder than sad. Why, I believe the defense knows of what the High Priest speaks. Yes, I finally understand. This explains why the High Priest took his own life. Oh. Yeah.
Take that!
The Defense Culpability Act. Circumstantial evidence supports Mrs. Inmee's killing of Acolyte Zeh'lot in self-defense. However, it would be next to impossible to prove it without a lawyer. That's why the High Priest wanted to pin the crime on Maya Fey. I fail to see what that has to do with his suicide. In Khura'in, the divination seance is the most important piece of trial evidence. The High Priest wanted to frame Miss May as a serial killer. It was a clever plan in which he made sure he'd see Lady Kira in his final moments. The lawyer speaks true. That is why I placed Lady Kira's robes upon the Warbat statue. I made it seem that Acolyte Faye was the rebel hunting Lady Kira. But are you saying you used my divination seance to produce false evidence? Forgive me your benevolence, but it was the only way to help my lovely wife. If you had approached me first, I could have proved that the murder was in self-defense. Perhaps, but I had little faith in lawyers despite being a rebel. How utterly foolish to cast away one's life for such a reason. There must have been other ways to cover up the crime. Yet had I done so, my wife would rush to my defense, and when the case went to trial, she would suffer the same fate as I under the Defense Culpability Act. I could not have lived with myself had she been convicted because of that fiendish man. This cannot be. All I have done under the laws of our kingdom, it has all been... Poor Rafa, she's really taking this hard. But I can't say I'm surprised. Mr. Phoenix Wright, it is time to show the might of your legal prowess. You mustn't allow another innocent soul to be charged under that despicable law. Of course, I'll do whatever I can. What I have done to you and Acolyte Faye is unforgivable. I can only offer my most humble of apologies. Your Majesty, yes? I ask that you please look after my wife. You have my word. Your benevolence, it is time that I return to the Twilight Realm. The Magatama of parting, if you please. Very well. Your benevolence, please allow me the honor. Yes, it would be more fitting for you to send him on his way. Mrs. Inmee. Darling, I'm so glad I was able to see you one last time. Thank you for everything. I'm sorry to leave you like this, my love. But now you can watch over me from the world beyond. Yes, always and forever. And with every breath I take, my darling, I'll be thinking of you. I guess the good thing about this is that she knows she'll see him eventually. You know? I mean, if something like this could happen, death wouldn't be so scary. I'd be like, oh man, for sure I'm going to see them.
You can't prove that it doesn't happen.
Well, as you know in law, babe, what's more applicable in court? Proving it happened or not proving that it can't?
Proving that it happened, but
Mhm.
we don't know that there isn't an afterlife.
I would really like it if that were so. Maya. I feel great. I guess that means he didn't leave any regrets behind. Oh, what about the trial, Nick? It's over. It was a sad reality born of love and a great tragedy born of the Defense Culpability Act. Well, I see no need to continue this trial. Does the prosecution have anything to say? Mr. Phoenix Wright. I owe a debt to you, one that I will pay back in court someday. Really? Now, to deliver today's verdict and overturn that of yesterday's trial. With respect to all current and previous charges against them, I hereby declare the accused, Maya Fey, and her defense, Phoenix Wright. So Rafa is starting to really see the divination seance differently. And that was kind of a interesting turn in Sadmadhi there.
I'm still confused. Is Dirk in me?
Well, then maybe we'll find out in case 4 or 5. And remember, we have the other case too, case 6, which is like a bonus case. But that's not what we're going to find out. So I was thinking, Nick, the legal system here is really stacked against the defense. It's totally unfair. Yeah, it even forced the high priest to make the ultimate sacrifice just to protect his wife. It's just so sad. Protect the status quo or join the revolution. If the real Lady Kira was here, I wonder which side she would take. Aw, Rafa.
Yeah,
Your benevolence. Huh? What? I was just wondering, are you alright? Quiet you. How could I possibly be alright? Yeah, she's not doing well at all. Who do you think you are, suddenly appearing before me, trampling my insights underfoot and plunging the Hall of Justice into utter chaos? You even desecrated my mother and father's teaching, you soulless infidel. Ooh, that was a bit more extreme than usual. What am I to do? I'd always believed that communing with a victim's mitama would lead me to the absolute truth. But each time you overturned my insights, it was revealed that they served to support false charges rather than the truth. I am left now with that heavy truth in my heart. I'm sorry, Rafa. Perhaps I am not worthy of hearing the voices of the mitama. That's where you're wrong, your benevolence. What? Maya? How dare you? How dare you? Your role is to bring forth the voices of the mitama into our world. If you don't do it, who will? You know nothing, Maya Fey. It was spirit channeling, not a divination seance that brought the truth to light. How dare an outsider like you employ the Queen's secret art? But what can I do? My spiritual power does not even approach yours. Ha 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 ha. It's not a cruel joke. The royal priestess, bested by a lowly outsider. Don't be so hard on yourself. Why not? It is worth at least a laugh or two. You shouldn't talk like that, huh? Listen, your benevolence. Oh, that's a new pose for her. You were just fulfilling your duty, weren't you? And you're the only one capable of performing the divination seance, right? The station of royal priestess is not something to abandon lightly. The station of royal priestess? The people of your kingdom believe in you, but if you really mean all that you just said, then what are they supposed to believe in? You know not of what you speak. Actually, I kinda do. After all, I'm only here training so I can become the master of my village back home. A village master, you say? I did not know. It seems I owe you an apology. For even today I called you a neophyte practitioner. It's all right, your benevolence. Thank you for finally acknowledging me. A future queen and a future village master. I guess it shouldn't be a surprise, considering they may have had a common ancestor. Maya's right, your benevolence. Barbed head. Your insights were a crucial piece of evidence in this last trial. It doesn't matter if they weren't always 100% accurate. You should be proud of what you did. You've played an important role in assuring that justice was served.
I mean, only about 70%.
I know, like, she has to live with that, but, I mean, now knowing what it is, she can turn it around. Like, it's, like I was saying before, it's important. Besides, your insights aren't the problem here. It's your kingdom's legal system. Without lawyers, your insights have come to be accepted as the sole truth, and the Defense Culpability Act, which gave rise to that, is the root of it all. But that is the dangerous thinking of a rebel. Your benevolence. As Crown Princess, you are destined to rule this kingdom one day. That means there will be many things that you alone must determine. Things like how to keep your people happy, and what is true and what is false. And most importantly, what role you must play therein. I wonder if I am even up to the task. Knowing you, your benevolence, you're more than capable. I've never heard Maya talk like this before. She's really come a long way. I was gonna say... What was that? It came from the hallway. Smoke, we better go check it out. Hurry. Mrs. Inme? Mr. Wright, Acolyte Faye, I'm so sorry for what transpired. You were almost sentenced to death because of me. I will make amends by picking up where my husband left off. I will see the revolution through so nothing like this can ever happen again. For that is the depth of my love for my dearly departed husband. Lady Inme, we gotta hurry. That voice, is that Mr. Arbel? I must tell the people they must learn the peace we enjoy is a false one. One built on the backs of innocents charged with false crimes under that odious DC Act. We have it in our power to forge a society in which the law judges all of us fairly. Hey there, PW! I wish we had more time to talk, but... Dirk, everything's ready. It's go time. Dirk? Oh! Okay.
That's the guy who had Phoenix. Remember the photo he had Phoenix?
Yeah. Well, he had Apollo.
I'm sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
But I take it back. I think the guy was going to be...
No. Don't let him get away. The power to forge a society in which the law judges us all fairly. All of us fairly. It's the start of a legal revolution. Hey, Nick. Hate to bother you while you're lost in thought, but I just got this great idea. What is it? The Steel Samurai versus the Rebel Dirk. I bet it'd make for another awesome TV show. And if we threw the Plume Punisher in there, everyone would go nuts over it. I'll never get what she sees in those shows. But it's good to see that no matter what happens, Maya will always be Maya. Yeah, she just got done lifting up Rafa, and now she's back to Steel Samurai stuff. That was a good case.
That's interesting. I was convinced that guy was Dirk, but I guess it's even more interesting that he's not.
Yeah, and that he's a rebel, but his own guy, and...
I think he was maybe a lawyer before. Just because he used...
No, he definitely, because it looks like these rebels want a legal revolution. And so, yeah, I think he clearly was a lawyer. And I think we saw something different in Son Madhi that we'll find out about, and maybe it has something to do with the fact that Dirk is his dad, and he's related to Apollo. And we saw some growth in Rafa. We saw some big growth in Maya. I feel like Maya and Trucy in this game have gotten some really cool growth that's been awesome to see in these two cases. So, very interesting. I gotta say, I was impressed by that. Yeah, I'm ready too. I'm looking forward to the next case whenever, but 2.5 hours, that's, yeah. All right, until next time.